Ladies and gentlemen, we now invite a distinguished corporate leader whose career reflects financial stewardship, governance excellence, and deep commitment to responsible business practices. We request the serving president, whole-time director, and chief financial officer of Larsen Toubro Limited. Please join me in welcoming Mr. R. Shankar Raman to share his thoughts on the relevance and importance of social responsibility, expectations from the board and CFO. It is pertinent to inform the gathering that L&T supports various social projects across the country, including some of our projects. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. It's okay, I'll stand on. Helps me look taller. Om Gurubhyo Namaha. Hara Hara Shankara, Jai Jai Shankara. My salutations to Jagat Guru and my pranams to all of you. At the outset, I want to express my gratitude to Dharmam Chara for giving me an opportunity to speak to you on the importance and relevance of social responsibility from a corporate perspective. I'm completely aware that I'm in midst of a lot of people who are very successful and in midst of very learned people. But given this opportunity, I just want to share my thoughts on this topic. The whole aspect of corporate governance and social responsibility, CSR, etc., got the leg up in 2013 when Companies Act was amended. And the government made it mandatory for the companies to spend 2% of their profits on corporate social initiatives. And also in areas that was contained in Schedule 7 to the Companies Act. What the government did well in this period was to channelize these savings into areas of dire social needs: health, education, water, sanitation, employment, etc. Fortunately for me, I work with a company which is deeply committed to its obligations to the society, and not just to society, to the deprived portions of the society. Much before the mandated CSR requirements, the company that I work for, L&T, had participated in social regeneration in a big way in several areas across the countries, because we were working in several parts of the country. And this actually became the culture of the organization, to remind ourselves of the debt that we owe to the society, the debt we owe to the motherland, to make sure that we deliver value all the way. That possibly is the reason why the company over these 88 years have started focusing on areas which are very core to the country's development. Perhaps it is from there that we even acquired a tagline that we make things that make India very proud. Mr. Hawk Larsen, who's our founder, always believed in investing in people, because he used to say people are the prime movers, not only for the company, not only for the community, but also for the country. He believed that we should instill good values and ethics in people, so that they find a purpose in their employment, they find a purpose in their engagement, they find a purpose in their lives. This powerful message actually was very important for the company to find its own path in serving society in the ways that it does. The focus of the company through the CSR initiatives was to work in the communities that are surrounding the establishments. Communities around the project sites, communities around the factories that we have, and the communities around the offices that we run. It not only gave us an opportunity to tap into the resources of the neighboring community, but it also helped us and gave us a chance to promote their livelihood. It was a perfect example of mutuality and interdependence. If you talk about India and the role of corporates through corporate social responsibility in development of India, it is hard to forget that India had a very storied past. We were almost leaders in everything we did. We were one of the largest economies in the world. We still are now fighting to get into from 5 to 4 to 3, but we were there, right there, on top. Be it mathematics, be it engineering, be it astronomy, be it medicine, be it art, literature, astronomy, astrology, India was the natural leader. This culture of leadership, this evolution that we as a community had, possibly was a very envied culture and hence badly attacked. Centuries of invasion, brutal subjugation, etc., made us lose our way, and we lost that pole position. But the traditions that marked India survived. The prescriptions of Sanatana Dharma actually continue to stay relevant and inspire us into our renaissance. As we approach 100 years of our independence in few years from now, I think India has an opportunity to regain that pole position in the global order. Talking about global order, world is anything but orderly today, all of us know. It's upside down, a lot of chaos and uncertainty that dominate our daily lives. But the one way, one prescription, we believe, through this chaos and confusion is to embrace sustainability, to embrace endurance. And this is possible through the instruments of corporate social responsibility that all of us are endowed with in our official capacities. The objective of many of these programs is to enable societies to create value, to create wealth, and use the wealth for the betterment of the societies around them. And through this force effect, we could possibly create a large pool of resilient people who can then brave the dangers that the world throws at us on a daily basis. Corporate India can use the CSR mandate in multiple ways, and we have over 7,500 listed companies, and I think 28 lakh companies which are registered. There's so many of us in operation, and each of us have an opportunity to make a difference to the society that we operate in. And it's important that all of us realize that business can thrive only if the surrounding communities thrive. And surrounding communities can thrive if we pay attention to the glaring gaps that we have in terms of health infrastructure, education, employment, etc. Speaking from my experience overseeing the corporate social responsibility function in the company, I find, to my distress, very large portions of India are still deprived of basic needs. Societies and communities fight over limited resources, and their access is always a challenge. It's difficult to define where to start because we have very poor sanitation standards. That affects the health of the community and the people. And because people are not healthy, they are not able to educate themselves or pursue anything which is of relevance. Even if they brave all this and get to schools, you don't have enough teachers to teach the students. We don't pay the teachers well, so obviously it is not the chosen profession. And if, God forbid, if they were to fall sick, the healthcare system is very poor and broken. So this actually sets in motion a mass migration into urban centers and leading to congestions of urban centers. While dealing with the congestion populated by people who have migrated from villages with skills that they don't have to survive in the urban jungles, you also leave behind a very deprived rural India. So if we want India to become a prosperous, confident, empowered nation, it's very important that we pay attention to the needs of the rural India. In the process of this migration, we also see a lot of disparity in income and well-being, and that creates communal fissures, and that is not good for a cohesive living principle. We need to find a way to bind the communities together, and granting that the villages live within the realm of their realities. It's very important for us to enable the rural people, the deprived people, to find skills that they can relate to. In a manner of speaking, we'll have to connect them to their basic roots. We need to promote skills and provide livelihood that possibly they can relate to and they can excel. Once we succeed in providing them the basic needs, put dinner on their table, then we also need to teach them to save, to invest, and more directly participate in the economic growth. It's not only the country's growth, it's also their self-growth and their family growth. So, minute we are able to put these things together, then they are mentally ready to imbibe what is good practice, what is good culture. You try teaching good culture to somebody who is hungry, who has not had food for 3 days. I don't think you will have his attention at all. So it's very, very important for us to prepare the ground to be able to instill values in them so that we create meaningful citizens who can help the country move forward in its own aspirations. As a natural extension of this would be the efforts to make the community inclusive. 50% of India is women. We cannot have a system which is indifferent to their potential. So one of the important things that as a part of corporate social responsibility would be to make sure we identify and develop the women to join the mainstream so that progress can be a joint effort and it could be that much more faster. This step actually enabling the rural community, educating them, providing them health, providing them access to water and other basic necessities, and making sure that they have a meaningful engagement to spend their daytime. We also make sure that we are giving them an idea to aspire for better tomorrow. If we are able to do this well, we can create a brand new society full of purpose, full of passion, full of promise, and maybe with a lot of positivity. To do this successfully and at scale, we need to align majority of the population to these goals. Goals of self-development, goals of developing others alongside, the empowerment that Arundhati spoke about. We need to make sure that there is a mass movement, and this can be achieved only if you create hub and spokes. We need to have champions at various corners of the community and in the country to make sure that these things resonate well with their own objectives and they become influencers of the local society to adopt a path which is one of righteousness and which has enabled them to possibly progress in life and the way the scriptures have ordained. Do your duty and leave the rest to God. We also need in this process support from a lot of partners. This is not a one institution activity or a one team activity. We have to connect and network the nation into doing this. So we need to figure out a way to have a lot of partnerships across the not-for-profit organizations who are able to collaborate in making sure that the good deeds reach to the most deserving. This is not a one-step process. We in corporate India do realize that it takes several generations of people persevering this year on year with a lot of energy and belief that this is the path to growth. As they say, service to humanity is service to God. And service to humanity can be the highest form of dharma. I do believe that in service lies success. And if you want successful communities, which are very healthy in body and mind, to become the torchbearers of the country going forward, it's very important that all of us in our own limited way contribute. After all, a squirrel could contribute to Rama building a bridge. And why should the corporates hesitate? Thank you for your patience, and Jai Hind.